Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Rich of Review Tech USA, and this is in response to DEADMAN7257 on what makes gamers different and what makes me play video games. And it's more than nostalgia. It's more than, going back to my past and how I always played. I mean, obviously that had something to do with me preferring to play video games. But to me, gaming is my preferred form of entertainment. Now you're thinking, obviously, yeah, but let me delve into it deeper. What I mean by that is, I'd rather sit and play a video game with my free time than watch television. I think you're more involved. It's a more interesting medium. You know what I mean? You get into it more because you are part of what you're doing. When you watch a TV show, which I do, I love House. Okay. You watch that show and that episode's done. It's it. It's over. Even if you play Shinobi 3 or you play, Condemned or Street Fighter 4, you could put that game in and have a different experience every time, even though it's the same game. Whereas if you have a movie, you're watching that movie and it's the same movie. Nothing ever changes with that movie. So that's the reason why I like gaming, because even the value of it is you get a lot more entertainment for the dollar than you do with any other medium out there. And don't get me wrong, man, I love going out. I love going, hanging out with friends. I just went out for my buddy's birthday a couple days ago. We went out to the bar, so on and so forth. But think about it this way. Okay, so a normal Friday night out. Okay, you go out to eat, $20-$30 right there, $15, if you're cheap. You go get some drinks. Unless you're the DD or whatever, you're having one or two drinks, you're at another $14. You're at $30 right there. I'm being modest too, and I'm not in Manhattan. I'm up in upstate New York. Then you go out to wherever you're going, have a couple more drinks or whatever, so on and so forth. At the end of your night, you're looking at $40. Like I said, going out having a social life is great. I do it too. But coming from a person who's been laid off from IBM since January 9th. I could go up to Dragon's Den when, there's nothing else going on and go get 4 games, whether they be for Sega Genesis, Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, for $20 and possibly have months of replay value. That's the reason why I game, and I love getting involved in the experience. Now, when it comes to old school games and new school games, I like them all equally. I kind of went over that in my other response to Super Dan 88. I think all games are great. I think whether they're made now or 20 years ago, they're fantastic. I love Kung Fu, from 1985, and I love Call of Duty 4, even though I kind of called it out before. I love everything. I love Left 4 Dead, which you guys know very well. And there's just so much to gaming that you really can get more out of it than any other experience. And when it comes to the systems, I'm starting to become a collector. I wasn't really into collecting until, fairly recently. But here's a perfect example how it's more than nostalgia or collection. I just got this brand new arcade stick. It ended up being brand spanking new for $9.95 for the Sega Genesis. It feels like a real arcade stick. It's amazing. Okay, and I have Super Street Fighter 2 for the Sega Genesis, and it's awesome. You can't emulate that experience, okay? I mean, I know K-Fusion has an awesome emulator, but you cannot emulate having a awesome, well-built arcade stick exclusively for the Sega Genesis with the cartridge in the machine, and you're playing it. That's why I like having the older system. It's not for just nostalgia. Nostalgia, when it's thrown in, is nice. But, you cannot emulate certain parts of the console and having that experience. And there's just great games for the older systems, too. I never had Comic Zone back in the day. It came out in 95. I already moved on to, 3DO and PlayStation and stuff like that. But I picked up Comic Zone, and it's an amazing game. It's awesome. It's if it came out on Xbox Live Arcade, I would love it now. So, to me, I game because it's just the best experience out there. And I think if people say that it's not, they're really cutting themselves short. And it's an experience for people of any age. It's something that, it's just a form of entertainment now. That whole thing that gaming is for children is dead. It's gone. It died back when the original PlayStation came out. So this is Rich of Review Tech USA, and the reason I game is because it's the best way to have a good time with your friends and family for the dollar. Have a good night.